And the next review comes with someone with 441 hours on record, and they go on to say, out of all the MMOs I've played, this one's community is the one that makes me want to kill myself the least. There you go, ESO fam. We made this person want to kill themselves less than the other MMOs communities. Take that, WoW in Final Fantasy. Hey guys, it's Lucky Ghost here. For those of you who are seeing me for the first time, I'm sorry. If you've been around my Twitch, then you already know what I look like. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Today, we're going to jump into the reviews of Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to look at the most popular ones and see what other people thought was important when it came time for them to review Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to take a look at some reviews who hated the game. We're going to take a look at some reviews who loved the game, and we're going to see why they felt this way. I've reviewed the game myself before, but I thought it'd be interesting to see what items were important to other people when it came time for them to leave their review. So let's jump into the first review. The first review comes from someone who's recommending the game with 1,707 hours played. And the review simply says, I still haven't even started the main story quests yet. And this is pretty common. I've seen a ton of max level players in ESO that have never even touched the main story quest. Either it's never occurred to them to wander in that direction and pick it up, or they didn't know it existed, or they just didn't want to do it. You know, they wanted to focus on all of the group content and whatever was in front of them first, and they just never got around to it. And this is a testament to how much of a play it your way game that Elder Scrolls Online is. If you love doing the quests, you can do all of the quests, and you could go straight there, and you could have picked up that main story quest as soon as you logged into the game. Or, you know, if you're the type of person that hates questing and you just want to go play with your friends, you could completely avoid the main story quests and jump into dungeons with friends as soon as you hit level 10. There's no wrong or right way to play the game. The game very much makes you feel that way. So I can see why he left the review that he did, and I can see why it was so popular among the people that looked at it. And the next review says, the stone creatures are made of stone and the map is so big. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to add to that. That's true. The stone creatures are made of stone, and the map in Elder Scrolls Online is massive. As soon as you zoom out and see how utterly massive this game is the first time, you're wandering around the zone that you spawn in, and you have that moment where you're like, oh, I wonder what the map looks like. And so you look at the map and you're like, wow, this zone is huge. And then you zoom out one more time and you see the entire world before you all at once. And it makes you so excited to eventually get to explore all of those areas, and you can't help but wonder what's in each place. The first not recommended review comes from a player with 734 hours, and they say, are there things in ESO that make me play it? Sure. Are those things enjoyable? Not really. ESO often feels annoying and frustrating, not an experience I would recommend to anyone. So they're playing the game. There's things in the game that get them to play the game, but they're not things that they enjoy about the game. They go on to explain, there are no barbershops in the game. You cannot change your hairstyle. I'm used to being able to customize my character much more in games. I'm used to the option of being able to change hairstyles by going to the hairdresser and paying with in-game money. ESO, however, when you make a character, their makeup and hairstyles will be permanent, unless you pay for some ridiculous tokens with real money, as if combing your hair was equal to changing your race and gender. That's a fair point. I've always wished myself that Elder Scrolls Online did have an in-game barbershop system where you could change your character's more basic features, your hair or your makeup if you have makeup on, but mainly my hair. There's been times where either my hair color really just didn't match the look I was going for, or the hairstyle I picked wasn't fitting for the style that I wanted to rock now. My fashion on my character is an ever-changing thing, but when it comes to my hair, it's stuck, it's static, and I don't have a lot of options for changing that. And I kind of agree with them on this one point. Next up, they go on to explain, the music is good, the music is really good, and the locations are beautiful. But I can't marry my favorite NPC. Please introduce an option for marrying NPCs. Oh no, this person sounds a little bit lonely. You know, there is hope for this person though. It sounds like we may see the option to romance our companions come the Blackwood expansion. So maybe this person will get their wish after all. Ultimately, because of fashion and because of the inability to romance their favorite NPC, they've decided to not recommend this game, and that's fair. That's what was important to this player. The next review comes from a player with 50 hours on record, and they say, it's a highly realistic game. Spawned as a half-naked man in a starting dungeon. Wanted to get the tutorial over with as soon as possible, so I rush through it and I don't open any chests. 5 minutes later, I get to the first city as a half-naked man without any clothes. Other players stop and look at me. They shake their role-playing heads. They throw money at me, buy some clothes, start dancing. They throw more money at me. More role-playing fanatics come over. They clap for me. I continue dancing. Even more money is thrown. I am Lockmort, Naked Baker, Master of Dance, just like in real life. 11 out of 10. The best part about this story is I 100% believe it. The community in Elder Scrolls Online is so unique in its desire to help a new player when they see someone without, right? If they see someone that just jumped into the game, clearly has no idea what they're doing, and getting this character some basic gear is going to cost them literally nothing, right? It is an inconsequential amount of gold, and so I would totally believe that random passerbyers would enjoy giving this person some money to help them. In fact, I've heard this story from numerous people in my guild where when they first started, they met someone and that person just was like, hey, I'm gonna craft you some gear because you clearly don't have anything on that matches or that forms any kind of a coherent set, so let me help you out. And yeah, that's just the Elder Scrolls community in a nutshell. The next review comes from someone with over 4,000 hours on record, and they go on to recommend the game because of a quest that they played, and they recount it as this. A girl asked me to talk to her dead boyfriend ghost. The ghost boyfriend tells me that he never loved her. I tell her the truth. She runs away, and a few minutes later, I find her ghost crying. Oh no. 10 out of 10, best game ever. Oh no. I think I remember that quest, actually. I think I remember exactly the quest this person is talking about. Was this in Alakir Desert, maybe? I totally remember a quest like this somewhere. The next review comes from someone who says, this game seems good. Haven't passed the intro yet. Still at character creation. I think this review might have been a little bit premature. I do think the character creation process is a satisfying one, however, so I won't completely discount it. For the next review, we have another unsatisfied customer who is not going to be recommending this game. They have 155 hours on record, and they went on to say, I wanted to like this game. I wanted to play this game. Sadly, it's just another mindless MMO. The quests are just painful. The empty rewards for completing missions and minor XP boosts could not fill the void for the RPG feeling. Just a waste of money. I would much rather have Skyrim into a 2 or 3 player local server and companion with my friends. I will agree that sometimes quest rewards in this game, especially for some of the side quests, can be a little bit underwhelming. Not only do you not get a very significant amount of XP, but sometimes you'll get a green item that isn't even part of a set. And I've often lamented this fact and thought that, hey, you know, it wouldn't hurt anybody for this reward to be something I had at least one reason to be excited about, whether it was monetary, cosmetic, or otherwise. The next review comes from someone with over 3,400 hours on record. They go on to say, good game, I guess. I only played it once and never stopped. Touché. The next review comes from someone with 672 hours on record. They went on to say, played the cat race known as Khajiit, then proceeded to become a werewolf. I am a cat that transforms into a dog. 10 out of 10, Cat Dog was a good show. That's fair. I never really thought about that. You could be a Khajiit that gets bit by a werewolf and then turns into a dog. Interesting. The next person to recommend the game had 49 hours on record, and they went on to say, pleased to report that my odds of having sex have dropped to 0 after my latest and greatest purchase. Congratulations. Next up, we have another individual who would not recommend the game. They have almost 2,000 hours on record, and they go on to say, this game is actually garbage, yet I still play it. My God, I've never seen so many game-breaking bugs after each patch. 12 out of 10, would buy ESO again. F me. So this review was written in November, and I know exactly where this review stems from and why they posted this review, while also still giving the game a 12 out of 10. Right around this time, there was a major patch that came out for the game that did literally break a lot of dungeons. There was a lot of dungeons that would kick people, it would crash people's games, and there was like a week or two in there where the game, for some people, especially in some content, was nearly unplayable, and this person probably was one of them. While continuing to state that they give the game a 12 out of 10, they also say they can't recommend it. And I get it. That was a rough week. The next person to recommend the game with 279 hours on record goes on to say, I tried it for free one weekend. 50 hours later, I've bought a handful of expansions and quit my job and sold my house for crowns. Yeah, that sounds about right. This game will suck you in. I mean, you step foot into this game. I remember my first week inside of the game, the first few days, in fact, I just bought like the base game and I was just going to test it. And I wanted to just, you know, I didn't want to get the ESO Plus. I didn't want to sign up for the subscription. I just wanted to put my toes in, you know, and try it out and see, do I like it enough to buy the expansions, to buy the subscription, or am I going to get bored after a couple days? And so I made it exactly 3 days. Well, I made it 2 days. And then on the third day, I bought ESO Plus and the expansion. And so I had all of the content. I was having so much fun in the game and I was ready to experience all of it. All right, for the next person that recommends the game, with 144 hours on record, 67 hours at the time of the review, they say, after playing WoW for 10 years, technically 14 starting at TBC, but quit until the end of Wrath, it's refreshing to play an MMO that actually has the RPG side nailed down. WoW massively lacks being an RPG these days. The questing is superior, each one voiced and easy to get invested into. Dungeons are fun, PvP is a blast, plenty of skill lines to create unique builds, easily thousands of hours of content to get invested into. I myself currently have barely scratched the surface and enjoying every moment. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak too much on WoW. I don't have a lot of time invested in that game personally myself. I played it a little bit in beta, but I was busy and addicted to another game at the time called Lineage 2, so I didn't get a lot of time with WoW. And then when I did go back and play WoW in what was it? I think I played it in 2020 for about a month. Now, you know, I just felt so behind. I felt so I felt like I had missed the wave. I had missed the moment, and it just wasn't the same for me. So, you know, I can't really comment on WoW, but what I can say is that the questing in ESO is amazing, and the dungeons are fun. The PvP is a blast. I totally agree with all of that. There are tons of skill lines that you can combine and make a completely unique build of your own, which is something that I do every single patch. I'm always theory crafting. I'm always throwing together new builds to share with you guys. And I totally understand why this player loves that about this game. And like they said, there's thousands of hours of content in this game. It's utterly massive. I mean, if you like the single player portion of the game, that's massive. And if you like the group content, there is so much of it. 4 new dungeons being added every year, a new trial being added every year. It's just growing. It's just continuing to grow at such an amazing pace. It's really hard to run out of things to do. The next person says, I've logged 5,558 hours into the game. They recommend the game, saying, no review is necessary at this point. I believe the time speaks for itself. The amateur. Now, the Steam launcher's count of your hours played is notoriously inaccurate, but I thought it would be funny to show it all the same. I have closer to half that amount of playtime in Elder Scrolls Online, most of which I've streamed on Twitch, and so you may have seen me there. But still, I understand what this person's saying, and I could reasonably say the same thing when I go to review the game. You know what? I've got 5,000 hours. I've got close to 5,000 hours in this game. If that doesn't mean that it's got longevity and replayability and that it was worth the purchase, I don't know what does. The next person goes on to recommend the game with 30 hours at the time of the review. I must have bought the Elder Scrolls Online GameStop edition by accident because the merchants in the game will buy your weapons for like 10 gold each, even if they're selling the same weapon for over 500 gold. Yeah, that sounds about right. The NPCs in this game do have a tendency to undercut the sales price quite a bit. The next person to recommend the game at 30 hours played says it was like Skyrim with guns, but without guns. Yeah, I can definitely agree. This game does not have any guns in it. The next person to recommend the game with 184 hours on record says, I lockpicked a house. An NPC complained of trespassing. Then I saw a Khajiit assassinate said NPC. The Khajiit said to me, you witnessed a murder. You saw nothing. 10 out of 10 would witness a murder again. And I wholeheartedly agree. Our peers in this game, those guys and girls that just go one step further with the role play and turn any completely forgettable situation into something memorable by coming up with a line like this in a just random encounter, have such a way of making memorable moments out of nothing. I love when people do this kind of stuff in Elder Scrolls Online. The next person to recommend the game says, I was trying to kill mud crabs for fishing bait and accidentally cleaved the side of a fisherman's head off with a battle axe. She didn't like that. A few minutes later, after mass murdering the fisherman on the pier, I noticed that there was no witness bounty system. Needless to say, the view from this rock above the swarm of guards is pretty nice. 10 out of 10. Yes, that moment when you realize killing the witnesses doesn't remove the bounty. In fact, it just makes the bounty bigger. And now the guards are very upset with you. In Elder Scrolls Online, if you're not totally familiar with the bounty system in Elder Scrolls Online, once you commit a crime, people become very aware of it immediately everywhere, and a guard will try to arrest you. If you commit too many crimes, guards will just kill you on sight. So this individual right here is very much in a kill on sight situation, where if they die, everything that they've stolen and all the money that's on their bounty will be taken and repossessed from their corpse when the guards catch up with them. The next person to recommend the game with 717 hours at the time of the review says, I don't like MMOs, but I ruined 2 semesters because of this game. Oh man, is that relatable? Yes, I remember staying up way too late when I was in school playing MMOs, and class would have been a lot easier the next day if I didn't have an MMO I was really enjoying at the time. The next review is someone who says, good game, easy to get lost, 500 hours, still don't understand anything. And that is so believable with Elder Scrolls Online. The game is so massive, and there are so many intricate little details and so many nuances and so many aspects of the game that you can lose yourself in, that you can go invest a lot of time in, and until you go dive into them and really explore them, you have no idea that they're there or how they work, especially some of like the deeper mechanics that require a lot of time invested into find out that they even exist or to master. So yeah, I totally believe it. 500 hours in and you feel like you still don't get it? You're not alone. A lot of people feel that way. The next review says, be me, a peasant with no armor, steals armor, guards take armor and leaves me fully naked. Well, this game isn't very friendly to the homeless. Yeah, this is exactly how the system works. If you steal armor without laundering it, the guards will identify it as stolen and they will take it from you if they ever catch you doing something bad. The next review says, I like this game, but I don't have friends. And 318 people thought this was funny. The next review says, got kicked from all 5 of my guilds after not playing for 2 days. 11 out of 10 experience. If you get kicked from 5 guilds the second you log off, it might be you. All right, the next review says, don't believe the anti-hype. Elder Scrolls Online, it doesn't suck anymore. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, we all know Elder Scrolls had an incredibly rough launch. I wasn't there for it, in fact, because the reviews at launch were so bad that I just decided to pass on it for the time being, hoping that it would maybe be one of those MMOs that the developers didn't give up on and, you know, turned it around someday and added enough content to really turn it into a good game. And thankfully, that's exactly what happened. I came to the game, you know, multiple years after it was released and found it in an amazing state. So yeah, exactly like this person said, don't believe the anti-hype. It doesn't suck anymore. There you go. Maybe a new slogan. And that's gonna wrap it up for this dive into the reviews of Elder Scrolls Online. We got to see what the most memorable moments were for some other people, what made them love the game, and what made them hate the game. What about you? Why do you love Elder Scrolls Online? Why do you hate it? And more importantly, what was the most memorable moment for you? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm Lucky Ghost. I stream ESO 5 days a week, so feel free to drop by my stream. I'll put the link in the description below. I hope you have a fantastic day, night, or evening wherever you might be, and I'll see you in the next episode. The next review comes from someone with over 4,000 records